I eventually like tried to escape and like had to run out. Well, I did escape. I like threw my bag out and had to like run. And I was like, call, this is when I was 15. I was like, call the cops. I was like running for my life and hiding behind cop cars and stuff. And when the cops came, they arrested him thinking he was my pimp.
Welcome to the Kevin Clancy Show. I've been in this game over a decade, and I knew I needed a place where I could run wild on my own solo podcast, where I tell personal stories, I deep dive into conspiracy theories, we rip through the current events of the day, and we do sit-down conversations with the most interesting people on the internet. Make sure you click subscribe so you don't miss an episode. What's up, you mutts? It's another episode of the Kevin Clancy Show, Spike Tour Phase 2, Episode 11. It's with Annie Letterman. Sat down with her for about an hour. One of the most interesting people you'll ever talk to, ever listen to, in a fascinating way, in a funny way, in a tragic way. Never have I met somebody who talks about more serious and fucked up situations with this kind of c'est la vie attitude. Like, you know, Annie Letterman has gone through some shit, some fucked up shit that she really didn't deserve to go through. And she's kind of like, well, I mean, just got to roll with it. And, you know, turn myself into a fucking mega successful comic. This is a girl who lived in her own car 3 separate times. It's not once. Like, oh my God, I remember that time, like I was in between apartments and I lived in my car for a minute. No, fully living in your car. And then not even like I dug myself out though. No. She had to go back. Then made it onto like Chelsea Lately, made it like 2 television. Successful, like, you know, you think you make it to a steady appearances on a primetime TV show and you're set, right? Nope, she went back to car life again. And I think we can safely say at this point that Annie Letterman will always be living in a home from here on out. I don't think it's a car. I don't think it's going to be a lean-to or a teepee or a wigwam. I think we can say Annie Letterman's going to live in a human house, an apartment, a home, whatever you will, because she is one of the funniest fucking people in the world. One of the only people that I've met in this game that makes me go like, whoa, shit. Very, very short list of people. It's like Ari from a couple weeks ago, Ari Shafir, the Legion of Skanks guys, Annie Letterman, probably a couple others, but those are the ones that jump out in my mind that make me go like, holy shit, you fucking let it rip, huh? You let it fly. So Annie will be on the show. I also got to talk about Gabby Petito and the latest quote unquote true crime situation. I will explain to you why I call this quote unquote with the disappearance of Gabby Petito and her boyfriend, fiance, Brian Laundrie, who's now on the run. First off, though, this is the Spite Tour where we talk all about saying, fuck you, I'm going to do it by myself. So couple housekeeping things here. Last week, KFC Radio live at Caroline's, sold that bitch out, packed the place, and had another successful live show. So we are. I don't think I can announce it just yet, but I've kind of let the cat out of the bag already. But if you live in New York, there is a certain gathering of funny people. Some might call it a festival that is happening in November that we are going to be a part of in one of the theaters there. So take a look, and if not, we can announce it pretty soon. But we have another live show coming in November. Thank you to everyone who showed up at Caroline's. Another hit. I mean, another great time, another great episode. I personally thought it was our best live show ever. The thing that's interesting about doing live podcasts is you don't fucking know what's going to happen at a live podcast because we don't have a routine. We don't have set jokes. We don't have material. We just fucking press record and go, put the cameras on, turn the mics on and go. Now, on the one hand, that's wildly easier than coming up with a full stand-up set. Obviously, you know, coming up with, you know, an hour-long routine is probably the most difficult thing in all of entertainment to do. And the people who can come up with like a full hour for a special or a live show is, in my opinion, the most talented people in all of entertainment. But there's a certain level of comfortability once you have grinded it out and bombed on stage and figured out what works and what doesn't work. And you know, like, I'm going to get laughs at this point, and right here is where I drop this joke, and I'm going to kill it at the end with this.
And we don't have that. We just kind of go out there and do like an episode like we usually do. We got a couple, segments. We got some framework. But other than that, we just start ripping. And, there have been times in the past at live shows where it's been fine. I've been like, this is like listening to the podcast where it's always entertaining and I always laugh out loud. It's not like, boom, 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 like a 2-man routine. It's just like, I'm shooting the shit. John's reacting. We're arguing. We're laughing. And everyone's always been happy and engaged and enjoyed themselves. But the last show we had, for whatever reason, that opening segment where it was just us up there before we got into all of the KFC radio segments of voicemails and top fives and Am I the Asshole and all that shit, our banter was just like perfect. It was like, you would have thought it was scripted the way we were doing it. And it was just kind of like 10, 11, 12 years of chemistry coming out where like you get that first couple laughs and you're like, all right, like we're good. And so I feel like we really hit a point with our live shows where I can kind of like rest assured that even like the stuff that we have that's not planned, I get videos from all of the comics and guests that we have where we run them on the screen and we play viral videos. And it's like a whole audio, visual, Barstool Sports blog, KFC radio podcast hybrid event that you get when you come to our show. But even before all that, it was just like me and Fights, just like clicking, firing on all cylinders. So I think one of our best shows ever to date. And if you want to get involved, come through to see us at our next one in November. Tickets will be on sale. Early October is when we're allowed to announce it. So still a few more weeks before we announce that. Also was the first ever drop of our sneakers. Front to back, designed by us, created by Feidelberg. He dropped the Sad Boy Season 1s. We're collaborating with Nothing New, which is the sneaker branch of Thursday Boots. We've done boots collabs in the past with Thursday. We dropped those olive colored boots as well as like the two-tone brown boots. And we've always had success selling boots for the fall and brunch boots and stuff. Finally, we wanted to get into some sneakers. They recently have gotten into the sneaker game. And John led us off with the Sad Boy Season 1s, which are like a off-white cream color, full raw cut, like cloth material type of low top with his patented Sad Boy design. And we sold out in, I think it was 8 minutes total. I mean, they fucking flew off the shelves, which on the one hand is awesome. On the other hand, I'm like, fuck, I wish we did more inventory because we just started out. We only did 1,000 pairs and like, I wanted to do more, but we weren't sure. And it's, you got to take on a big overhead cost for production and all that. So we said, all right, let's go with 1,000. And it was like, we were getting updates from our merch people. That was just like, we sold 100, we sold 150, we sold 250, 275. It was like an auction, 325. Do I hear 400? Do I hear 450? Do I hear 500 now? How about 600? And next thing you know, like 8 minutes in, we sold 1,000 pairs. It was like an unbelievable feeling. John knocked it out of the park with his. I have been designing my own, which is now next up. We got the Moon Man ones. John went with the white. I got a black pair coming that I think are pretty cool. I'm going to give you a more of an inside look on my Instagram. If you follow along at KFC Barstool, we're going to be leaking some pictures, and I got some videos coming up showing the new look of the Moon Man ones. So we are into the next phase of our merch game. Just all of it kind of together being one giant spite tour. Like, we can sell tickets and sell out a comedy show. We can do festivals. We can sell, a silly T-shirt that has like a catchphrase on it, or we can design you some like brand new original, like streetwear hoodies and sweatpants and all sorts of clothes that you just like can wear out our own Moon Man line. We can design you boots. We can design you sneakers. We sell out on this. We sell out on that, whether it's an appearance or a tangible product. It's just like what we do. We have fans, all of you guys, who respond and buy what we put out there and pick up what we're putting down. And I feel like it's, proof positive that what we've been doing for the last decade or so, whether it's on the Kevin Clancy Show, KFC Radio, Friday Night Pints, 1 Minute Man, any of the shows we've done, the fans have always responded and always showed up. And that's a big part of our Upfronts production that we've got, presentation rather, that I'm doing actually today as we speak. If you're listening to this on drop day, our Barstool Upfronts is, if you know what upfronts is in advertising, it's like you try to get all your ad dollars up front from clients, where they come in and you get like 50% of your, sponsor money, your ad money for the year, all locked in and agreed upon upfront in the beginning of the year. So we have this grand production and we put on a show for the sponsors and we explain to them, like, look, this is what separates us from everybody else. Like, you might get some traffic. Those guys might have some downloads. These people use SEO and smoke and mirrors, or this person bought their followers or whatever. Even if you do have a big natural presence on the internet, it's like, can you get people to show up to your event? Can you get people to buy your sneakers? If you're a podcast or an internet personality, can you drop a shoe and have people buy those? Can you, sell an entire clothing line? Can you create an entire lifestyle mantra like Feidelberg has done in the past? And that's something that both of us have done in and out. And as I'm looking at the upfronts, while I am involved in it from a 1 Minute Man point of view, no love for the KFC radio gang, no love for what we're doing here, no talk of, the interview of the year with the sit downs that I'm doing with PFT and all the characters coming through from the Spite Tour, or the large 9/11 special, or any selling out Caroline's, selling out the sneakers, like no mention. And so the Spite Tour just rolls on. We just keep doing the damn thing, whether it's the bookers or the presentation creators or the haters or whoever it is. Keep on doubting and keep on hating. And the Spite Tour just keeps on rolling because we've got fans. We've got people who support us. We've got people who identify with what we do, I think more so than any other brand out there, because we're just transparent and real. And I think that's why, 1 Minute Man works, is because the opinions are just kind of straightforward and real. And why KFC Radio has always worked is that it's complete, unfiltered honesty through the mind of an average guy. And why I think the Kevin Clancy show works, because it is just truly me representing, the average medium guy out there and sitting down with good, funny, and interesting people and getting to know about them. So Spite Tour Phase 2, Episode 11, Annie Letterman. First, Gabby Petito, the story of her disappearance and what's going on with her fiance, Brian Laundrie, who's now on the run or in hiding or disappeared of some sort. If you don't know the Gabby Petito story, I don't know if you've been living on another fucking planet. It has swept the nation as of the past couple weeks. If you've been paying attention, really the last few days, it's truly popped off. Gabby Petito is a 22-year-old girl from Long Island. She went on a backpacking hiking tour with her boyfriend, who she then said was her fiance. All summer long, things were all right. But then in August, all of a sudden, there was a domestic disturbance where the police actually showed up. There was body cam footage of them talking to the couple. They ruled it like, it's just a fight. You two should just separate for the night, calm down. But they didn't feel like there was any reason to arrest anybody or bring anybody in or press any charges. So they're free to go on their way. No more than like 2 weeks later is when things start to get shady. Gabby stops contact with her family. The text messages either aren't coming in or seem like they're being sent by Brian from her phone. Then things get real weird in September when Brian Laundrie returns to his home in Florida. Brian lived with Gabby, with Brian's parents down in Florida. He comes back from the backpack trip without Gabby, but driving the van they were hiking in. And when he shows up without her, people are kind of like, what the fuck? Where's Gabby? He doesn't talk to a single soul. He's not talking to Gabby's family. He's not talking to the police, not even really talking to his own family, it seems like. And then not until September 11th, 10 days after he returns, is there an official missing persons case. At that point, police show up to Brian Laundrie's house and he's kind of like, talk to my lawyer. The lawyers issue a statement saying, Gabby is, we are aware that the police are looking for Gabby, and we hope that they find her. And that's it. That's all he's saying. Unfortunately, lo and behold, they find a body consistent with the description of Gabby Petito's, but not before the internet steps in. So the internet, once again undefeated, as a vlogger who was also hiking in the same area as Gabby and Brian, who drives through with his own van, has like a dashboard cam that's constantly rolling. And he went back to edit the footage. And in going back and just watching that footage, he sees that he passes by a white van parked on the side of the road in the area that Brian and Gabby were last seen hiking. He tells the authorities that Gabby's family had set up a Facebook page, and those vloggers and the people who saw that put that up in the Facebook page. That then makes it to the FBI and the authorities. They go looking for the body in that area. And next thing you know, they find the body. So the internet, the greatest force known in the history of the world. I think it's, the internet's the number one force of all time. That and the fucking atomic bomb. And so now the internet is doing its thing as Brian Laundrie is now gone. His family doesn't know where he is. Police don't know where he is. And what I thought was the cockiest moment, if you will, for lack of a better word, at one point, the families were both issuing legal statements back and forth. The Laundrie family lawyer would say, like, we're not saying anything at this time, good luck. And then the Petito family would issue a statement being like, are you fucking animals? Why don't you speak the fuck up? Not quite like that, I'm paraphrasing. But one statement from Gabby's family lawyer was like one sentence. And it was just like, just to be clear, Brian Laundrie is not missing. Gabby is missing. Brian Laundrie is hiding. Period. Stop. End of statement. It was like MJ when he decided to unretire and he came back with the 4-5 with the press release just saying, I'm back. Period. Brian Laundrie is not missing. Gabby's missing. Brian Laundrie is hiding because that motherfucker he's guilty of something. We don't know whether it's murder. We don't know what actually happened. Obviously, many, many people think that he had something to do with this, whether it was an accident or on purpose. You don't just return home without your girl, don't speak to anyone, and then disappear from your own family as well. But if the internet could find Gabby's body, they certainly can, put together a search for Brian Laundrie with his picture everywhere now and his face everywhere. We know the area that he last was in. It's all like swamps and marshlands. And obviously this dude is a hiker, so police are having a hard time finding him. But some people think he killed himself. I don't necessarily think there's any evidence pointing to that other than he's gone. We can't find him. And people think that he's kind of a coward and he wouldn't speak up. He's hiding. And, sometimes people think suicide's the coward's way out. So some people are speculating that. But nobody knows. Nobody fucking knows because this guy wouldn't say a word. What is so weird to me, and if you watch the 1 Minute Man, I kind of exploded at this point. The idea that like they were saying, well, there was no crime, so we couldn't charge Brian with anything. So we didn't, we couldn't force him to talk. Like, what are you fucking talking about? If someone's missing, you can't like ask them to come in. And I guess it's a lot of that's always under your own volition, but you can't have some sort of subpoena or some sort of, you're forced to speak when we know that you have the information. The best information is going to come from this guy. Maybe it's not, maybe he doesn't know where it is. Maybe she disappeared in the middle of the night and he has no idea, but he could at least give you the last known whereabouts and what they were doing and what she was wearing and what, all of that. And you can't make that person, you can't compel that person to talk or bring them into the station or do anything when we know some sort of foul play exists. And now, certainly now that there's a body that's been found, I would imagine if they find him, it's a different circumstance. But in those days and the weeks of uncertainty where we were still looking for Gabby and he was still at least believed to be in Florida at his parents' house or whatever, the police just like couldn't use any sort of legal recourse to like force this guy to help the investigation. That just seems fucking crazy to me. I know sometimes people, you can't file someone as a missing person because sometimes people just want to be left alone or they leave for a couple of days and you got to wait a certain amount of time. But like, how the fuck do you not have some way, some means to say like, you have to help us because this person's life is in danger rather than just sitting around waiting for a certain time to expire or a certain day on the calendar before they can really do anything. It just seems like the internet has taken more interest than any law enforcement. And that's where what my overarching thing here that I wanted to mention is the idea of like true crime is getting weird, because like people like the latest true crime obsession is Gabby Petito. And not that, you know, there is some intriguing in a dark way. You know, of course, whenever we talk about true crime, we talk about it being entertaining and intriguing and complex and interesting. It obviously sounds so disrespectful and so rude to the family. And that's where these things get weird, because for the most part, all of the great true crime documentaries or documentaries, or series, movies, whatever, are cold cases or old cases that have either been wrapped up or are never going to be solved and happened a long time ago, whether it was the Jinx or making a murderer. And sometimes these things get reopened now because of the excitement and the listeners getting involved. We saw that happen with Kirk Minahan and his show, The Case. But for the most part, a lot of it was like already done. Now, all of this is happening so quickly in real time, and people pick up on it so fast because you have TikTok users and Redditors who are now helping with this investigation and in real time posting everything. So fans, if you will, quote unquote fans, readers, watchers, listeners, viewers, are all getting real-time updates, and they're playing detective, and that can be helpful in some cases, like when finding the body, or if you ever watch Don't Fuck with Cats. In other times, it can probably be detrimental. It can fuck with evidence, or it can fuck with, the perception of the case. Then you get involved with the media, then you get involved with family, and it's almost like, you know, that family's despair and that family's nightmare is not your entertainment. And it is, we make it that, but we don't have like a right to that, because really at the end of the day, this stuff is now becoming so much in real time that it's not like a true crime documentary. It's just a fucking murder investigation that we happen to be following from Jump Street. And that's not to say that this hasn't happened in the past. Whenever there's been a missing girl or something that doesn't have a period stop to it, where it's like, and we know this person's been murdered, or we know who did it or whatever, and we're just kind of going back through the details. This is like, that's happened before, but it's so much more now with the internet and social media and blogs and vlogs and video updates and all that, where it's like, we're just really intensely following along with this crime. You know, at the end of the day, this isn't going to be some like interesting Netflix documentary. It's just going to be, the girl went hiking with her fiance. She has a incredibly toxic relationship with him, that, you know, clearly they had some sort of issues and domestic disturbances in the past, and he killed her. But because we're following along in the moment, you feel like you're along for every twist and turn. And it's like, wow, this is a true crime doc. It's like, no, man, this is just an open murder investigation. And we're treating it like it's our fucking entertainment. And I do it myself. So I'm not judging anyone who does, because it all comes from a place of morbid curiosity and hopefully empathy. And you want to help and get the word out and all that. But it is crazy how much in real time it is. I mean, there's this reporter, Brian Enton, is sitting outside the Laundrie family house 24 hours a day, going live on his phone, giving live updates, who's coming in and out of the house, what the police are doing. The police have papers in their hand and they're going to the door. They came back alone. Oh, they brought the family out this time. I mean, it is nuts. And I know that's freedom of the media and speech. And in a lot of cases, it can help. Hopefully it helps bring home bring to justice Brian Laundrie. He can finally speak and we find out what happened to Gabby. And if he was a part of it, justice can be served. But it is crazy that it's like, this is just, we are, the internet's so fast and we are now so in tune to these things because we are obsessed with the idea of murder and kidnapping and disappearances and that weird, I don't know, whatever it is about our brains specifically. I don't know if it's worldwide or just this country. Certainly seems to be more of a female obsession, but we are just so intrigued by this shit that we pick up on these cases immediately. And this happened to be the big one that went on long enough that people would get on involved in it and talk about it and theorize about it. I mean, when Brian Laundrie went hiding, people were like, there was theories. Well, what if Gabby's not dead? And what if they're both on the run now? And they're, a Bonnie and Clyde, and they killed those other hikers that are in the woods. I mean, I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, what if that's why he's not speaking? Because they're actually a duo that now need to cover for each other. And that's, if you look at it like he wasn't snitching on her, that makes a lot more sense. And now I'm like deleting tweets because I'm like, no, this is a fucking girl who's missing and most certainly dead. And now we're talking about potential theories and like plot twists, if you will. It's kind of like, this is whacked, man. This is not how you should treat anybody who's gone through what that young girl unfortunately had to go through and what her family is now enduring. They had to put out a statement being like, we will talk soon. We will release a statement soon, but please let us grieve. Now all of a sudden you're like a celebrity family overnight because people are so interested in your daughter's death. I mean, again, I'm in glass houses here throwing stones because I do get obsessed with these things too and want to know all the details and follow along and provide updates for the world and shit. But it is weird when it's like you just put this true crime label on it. And it's like, no, man, that's just a murder case that you have taken such an interest in. These aren't characters in your favorite TV show. This isn't, the writings of your favorite author. This is just real fucking life unfolding in front of you. And you're acting like, it's your personal game of Clue, as am I. So again, not judging, but it is a strange, weird wrinkle to the internet and law enforcement and crime and entertainment and, the decorum of when you can talk about these things and when you should do it and how it should be done. And because on the one hand, you can help in a major way. You watch Don't Fuck with Cats, or in this case, finding the body. And I would imagine, hopefully, in finding Brian Laundrie here, it's all because of the power of the internet, but also in the sense of how much you're harassing the family and impeding the investigation and maybe fucking with evidence or the court case. It's just a strain. I don't know what I can and can't say or what I should and shouldn't say. I said, let's start a manhunt for this guy. I'm like, wait a minute, can I not say manhunt? I don't mean hurt the guy. I mean, find the guy. These things, when we're in deep waters, we're playing in the big leagues when you're talking about this stuff here. And so it's just important to remember that, at the end of the day, this is a 22-year-old. This is somebody's baby girl. This is somebody who, their parent, her mother and father lost her. She was one of 6 siblings, like a huge, huge family mourning the loss of this girl in what is assuredly going to be one of the most, cliche, but gruesome and unnecessary murders. It's just like these toxic relationships that are always the case in these documentaries and in these stories, that it's just like, oh God, it doesn't have to be like this. And the sickest thing of all, and we all know it, is like Gabby Petito. It's a young, pretty, blonde New Yorker. And so she's getting all the attention in the world. And meanwhile, you go out to Native American reservations and you go out to the land where they live. There are girls getting disappeared left and fucking right, because there's no jurisdiction, because you're out in the wilderness. At the end of the day, and I say that only because I'm going to have Payne Lindsay on the show in October, who is the writer, narrator, producer, executive producer, everything of Up and Vanished, which is one of the most successful true crime podcasts of all time, up there with Serial and everything else. Season 3 is about the disappearance of an Indigenous girl who's been missing for 3 years now, and just how much Native American women and people on reservations just disappear. And because you're not a pretty white girl, and because you're not wealthy and from the right town, you don't have the right parents getting on the news, just nobody cares. And I'll tell you the scariest thing about all this as I wrap up before we get into Annie. I'm not even kidding, not just because I'm the president of Team Indoors. I'm just saying this for real. Going to national parks, going out hiking in the wilderness, going out in these places in the mountains and in the valleys and the rivers and the canyons and shit, you are asking to get disappeared. Like the amount of people read up on it. There are people who write books on this shit. There are people who study this, podcasts around it. You go out to some of these truly desolate areas that are empty for miles, no people for miles to be seen, no cities, no civilizations, no police jurisdiction, no cameras, no technology, none of that. You're out there hiking and camping, and you want to get a good view, and you want to get a nice, experience. And next thing you know, you run into the wrong fucking hiker who's out there for different reasons, who just wants to mutilate a body and walk away. And they can just fucking do that, man. Like, there's nobody. You are all fucking alone. There was other cases along the same route that Gabby and her boyfriend were hiking on, where there were stories of like these girls had been text messaging their family being, there's a weird, creepy guy in the same campground as us. If anything happens to me, it's probably him. And they're like, in a ha joking way, like that'll never happen. But hey, there's a creepy dude. And if anything happens, he definitely did it. And he fucking did it. And that's the kind of shit that can happen when you go to these parks, when you go to these wilderness reserves and shit. Everybody's all about the outdoors and the pretty environment and shit. Well, guess what? There's also fucking weirdos, murderers and kidnappers who will just, slit your throat, throw you off the fucking side of a cliff. You're dead in the bottom of a river and nobody knows, and no one's ever going to find you or find out, because it's like you're living in the fucking, there's nothing. There's no city, no nothing. I swear to God, if it was me, I'm not letting my loved ones, my daughter, my siblings, nobody go out and without, the proper GPS phones and tracking devices and contact at all times, because you go to national parks here in the United States, you better be ready to defend your life, because shady shit happens, especially to the wrong people. Girls, pretty people who are unfamiliar with the wilderness and from the city, just going out hiking and walking and mountain climbing. Yeah, you are a mark, and they will fucking kill your ass. So stick around, watch TV, watch Netflix, pop on your favorite podcast and listen to Annie Letterman. Here's a girl who's been through a lot in her own right. She's not quite the, get kidnapped in the wilderness type of girl, but in her own words, someone who has been through some trying times where she's been truly taken advantage of in the worst ways, but has bounced back stronger than anybody ever really could have. So Annie Letterman and her very inspiring and triumphant, but very funny story as well, because she's just a brilliant comedian who can take all that darkness and spin it into some funny shit, make you feel uncomfortable, but laughing all at the same time. Annie Letterman is brought to you by Cast. This is the app I've been talking about for the last few weeks on the Kevin Clancy Show, where you can put out a question to all of your followers and they can answer it in real time so that you have all the information you need to formulate your answer, whether you're just talking about bragging rights. The football season has just started. Who should be the MVP? Who's going to be the MVP? Is it going to be Brady? Is it going to be Lamar Jackson? Vote in real time. And you get all of the answers, including all of the information about who voted, what their demographic is, how old they are, what's their background, what sex they are, everything you need to know. All right, the young men are saying this while the older girls are saying that. You could ask questions about sports, politics, whether it's just you and your friends having an argument or information that you need for work. It's the social voting app that allows you to get your honest opinions out there and get all the honest opinions back. So you know what's working, what's not working, if you're right, if you're wrong. Should I put out a new pair of Sad Boy shoes? Should I put out the Moon Man ones? Do people like white? Do they like black? Should they be high top, low top? Vote about it. Then I can decide what kind of shoes I should make. Find out, settle a bet with your friends. Do people like, this movie or that movie? Find out what's the best season of The Office. What is, how about we were arguing, I hate the summer. Now the summer's ending, fall is here. Let me find out. What do you guys think? What's the best season of the year? I'm voting for the fall. Fights is going to vote for the summer. Let me see what the people think. All of these questions and more can be answered when you download Cast. Follow along with me at KFC Barstool, and you can ask all these questions and get all the real answers. Download it in the App Store or on iOS, or check out joincast.co to download Cast today and see how people truly feel about the world's trending topics. It's Annie Letterman on the Kevin Clancy Show. Let's do it.
Try anyway.
Do you want just normal coffee?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, we're ready over there?
You want black?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, what a fucking diva you are.
I'm a fucking diva.
You really are.
I'm trying to entertain the people.
All of
okay?
a sudden, you don't live in a car anymore, and you're getting coffee and making demands, showing up at whatever time you want.
I just roll in, okay?
Apparently, and then just don't even tell me you're here.
Well, I was
Like
talking
I'm
to
supposed to
Rhea.
have some sort of fucking telekinetic, and I just know where you are at
No,
all
you're
times.
supposed to have a guy at the front desk that tells you. I walk in, he goes, "Who here to say Kevin?" And he goes, "Great, good to see you again." I didn't know we were just saying hello.
Well, that
me and the
little
front desk guy.
motherfucker Enrique told
So
me
then I
that he
stood
texted
there.
me, and he didn't.
There was people sitting, so there was nowhere to sit. I was like, I guess it's standing room only. I was
So
like,
you were just standing there?
I was awkwardly standing. I was like looking at the merch. I was like, oh look, they have merch. I was like,
I'm sure that everyone was like looking at
like,
you,
what,
like,
like,
what is it, fucking
poster?
Halloween? What are we doing here?
I know.
Who's
Then
this
Rhea
girl?
walks in.
Thank God,
and
your
she
best
goes-
friend.
Rhea walks in and she goes, "Wow, this is a bold look." I'm like, "You're literally dressed like when I was picked up by the cops as a child sex worker in New Jersey City. You are wearing the exact.
she can't be throwing stones.
She's dressed like me at 14. I'm like, are you going to the mall? Are you going to buy some fucking platform shoes at Contempo Casual?"
Yeah, I mean, this kind of does have, like, Big Daddy vibes. Like, you let a kid dress themselves and they come out with their mom's jewelry and their sunglasses and
That's what
leopard and...
I like to dress like you're on mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, am I tripping this whole time?
You know what? I was looking back on some of our clips, which I still have to post because I fucking got sent 90 clips from 90 things in one day. It was like, this is.
Yeah, you're going hard.
I'm going hard, guys, and I'm not going to get COVID.
I mean...
I'm not going to get it.
Are you vaxxed up?
Yeah, I'm vaxxed up. But apparently that doesn't matter.
I was
now.
going to say, like, it even fucking counts
We
anymore.
don't- now they're,
I
like,
think the
mad at
vax
us.
just means you won't, like, you hopefully won't
not
die
gonna
from
die,
it,
yeah.
but you'll fucking still get it.
What are we doing? We're
I
we all
mean,
just have to get it. Did you get it?
Did I get COVID?
Yeah.
No, I was very, very sick when things really just started. Was that gum?
Yeah,
just
sorry,
hit me
so
with it, it's
disrespectful.
fine.
This is the moment we both got COVID.
I was really, really sick when it was, like, very early, and I was like, I fucking got this. And I went to get tested when it was, like, a zombie movie type shit
Yeah.
where they had, like, guys with guns, like, knocking on
Yeah.
my window. We had to drive up and get the swab. It was, like, scary shit. And it came back negative, but I'm like, I don't know. It was like I had every symptom.
Yeah.
Right? And it was, so I went out, like, the day before it really, my birthday was, like, that Friday before. And my friends were like, we're going out. So we went to the Knicks game where, I don't know if you remember Rudy Gobert, the guy in the Jazz, was fucking around touching everything.
No, that's great. And then he got it?
He was the one who shut down the NBA.
Oh, my God.
And I was at that game. And then we went out to, like, a couple bars for my birthday. And then the next day, all that happened. And I was like, oh, my God, I, like, for sure have it.
Yeah.
And it said I didn't, but I don't know if I believe it or
I
not.
did a couple things. Like, over Christmas, my friend was like, my friend's, like, really good at, she just will buy me tickets places. And I'm like, you can't really, like, say no.
Yeah.
If someone
like,
bought you.
tickets, like a,
She'll get me, like,
a plane ticket or, like, a ticket to an event?
She'll go, I got you first class. And I'm like, okay. And I'm
does
like,
this?
where? And she'll go to Alabama. And I go, oh, okay.
Wait, is this a family member or a friend?
It's my friend.
Who is
But
this?
she knows
Is it
how to
a rich
get me.
friend? Is it
I
like
think
one of
she
your
just
comic friends?
No, she's not a comedian. She used to date a comic who shall remain unnamed, and she is a
she rich or just
psychiatric
generous?
nurse. She's not a psychiatrist, so she's a nurse practitioner. So she just makes bank doing her
Yeah.
job. She got a regular job, so she loves vacation. I would rather be dead usually than go on vacation because my job is so fun. I don't want to take off. Mm-hmm. But she has forced me on some vacations, and it has been fun.
Alabama?
Well, Alabama was one, and I was like, I can't believe it. And I had so much paranoia because it was over Christmas, like when it was kind of like the height of it.
Right.
And I hadn't seen my family or anything, and I was like, so I like went to see her family, brought my dog, my boyfriend.
You
I
went
was
and
like,
visited someone else's family
if you
during COVID
listen,
instead of
here's
your
the
own
moral of the
family?
story. If you buy me a ticket, I'm probably gonna go. I don't know how to say no.
Somebody buy this bitch a ticket to see her own family,
But
please.
it was fun. But I was like, I was like so nervous, and then we didn't get it. None of us got it, and then
there's like no rime or reason.
It's
you know?
totally
it's like I
random.
had sex with someone who had it and I didn't get it, and then someone's like, I was 30 feet away from somebody and I did. It's just fucking crazy. That's how you know it was made in a fucking lab.
I wonder if I'm allowed to say something that
You can say whatever the
my
fuck you
very
want.
famous friend told me. We'll just say it's my very famous friend that I name drop a lot. Told me that his wife got it and he banged her on purpose to see if he was going to get it, and he didn't get it.
Joe Rogan's crazy, man.
But yeah, no, there's no. So my parents right now are in Philly, and they're vaxxed up. We all got to like hang out. I've seen my parents like almost too many times since we got vaccinated. Where my family, like we were all like so happy to see each other, and then that wore off.
Yeah.
Like the fourth trip home, it was like my brother was screaming. He was like, "Get the fuck out of my house!"
That's like the whole world too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're gonna change. We have a
Yeah.
new perspective. Or the people who are like handshakes are never coming back.
Yeah.
Pro sports never coming back. Literally, like the millisecond that we were allowed to, everyone went back to everything in normal.
It's such a weird time now because of this new variant. So like I'm on the road and I'm at Caroline's, and at the end of the show, people come to buy shirts and stuff, and they want to take pictures, but they like get all, I'm like, do you guys really want to? I'm like, stand away from me.
Well, that's the thing. People used to be like, they just don't care. It's like we just decided not to care anymore.
Yeah.
But it's
what are we
like
gonna do?
used to at this level of numbers in this city, we were shut down and terrified, and now we're like, give me a kiss on the lips. Let's spit in each other's mouths. No big deal.
Let's
it's
go
crazy.
back to the fun stuff.
I want to get locked down again. Fuck it.
Were you banging someone when you were locked up?
No, but that's like an annoying part of it. But the rest of it is like I love just like
you were just
like
with
the
your kids.
excuse of just like I would love to just like hang on the couch the rest of my life. But the only thing that like gets me
We
out
can
is
tell
like,
by this outfit, talking shit on my outfit. What are you in
this
spring
is Fridays.
training? What is this?
This is the Friday. You know, this is as good as you get. All right. This is as good as anybody gets. I wear these like this is like the clothing that I sell. I'm like, this is what I wear now.
Being alone during the pandemic is like. That is so sad. I'm so sorry for everyone that happened to.
I couldn't get enough of it. It was
but
amazing.
you have kids. You have things to fill your life with.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
people that
truly
work
alone, I probably would have lost
completely
my mind a
alone.
little
That's
bit,
insane.
Yeah. We also just like started coming back to work pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, but the idea of like more so the social side of things.
Yeah.
Because everyone's always trying to like come out. Why don't you come out more? And I'm like, I don't really want to. And I stopped giving excuses, and I just kind of said no.
Yeah.
Which ends up being
getting
rude.
Real. And this is the real world, the true life.
But once nobody could do it, I was like, all right, welcome to my fucking world. This is what I do. Yeah.
You're like, this is why you don't have kids when you're 23.
I was 30.
Still seems young. But
How old are you?
38.
38.
I know my aunt was like, she's like, are you gonna have kids? And I was like, yeah, maybe. And she was like, I went to fucking medieval times, dude. I went to medieval times like a month ago.
What?
And when you go,
You're for sure getting COVID.
Listen, I went
you
to.
think,
I
you think
didn't
the
get
medieval
it,
times
I
people
didn't
are fucking vaccinating? For sure not.
I didn't. You think they were letting them back on to ride the horses without the vaccinations? You think they're letting them in their chainmail?
I think the clientele showing up to medieval times.
You're right.
Eating those giant sticks of mutton. They're not
like,
getting fucking vaxxed.
So have you been to medieval times? It's like it's just like theater major. Anything like that is just like all theater majors.
Yes,
it's just so like nerdy and.
We did a video there once. We went to King Richard's Fair, same idea, but it's like one thing up in Massachusetts somewhere. So everyone from New England knows this one spot. And we went, we got costumes the whole nine. We're filming a video, like completely and totally mocking these people's existence because they fucking love it. And they were like, we're not like playing by the rules, and they were because
they're all
serious.
in character. If you did that at the Renaissance Fair too, I did mushrooms with Kyle Dunnigan. I went to the Renaissance Fair like a couple years ago, and we were like, I mean, he's like a character, and he couldn't be a character there. It was so hard.
Right.
But we wanted to do a video. I wish we had done it. We didn't have the balls, but where he would go up and like, because they were doing like sword swallowing or some bullshit, and he wanted to like charge the stage and be like, you guys, I've come from the future. I have terrible news. In the future, all the people, they have things, they mock you, they make fun of you. They all think you're losers. But like,
but you know what? Those people are happy.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm like a hater to that. Like,
yes.
I have like friends that are like really big fans of things. I'm not like a big fan of things.
I have sports, which is like more of a mental illness that I hate.
Yeah.
And then I have like TV shows that I like. But that's not like a hobby or a thing that you do and go to. And I
but
wish
it's like
I did.
I can't imagine like wanting to like sit down with Lady Gaga and be like.
No.
Well, unless I would like ask her weird questions, but not as like not as like I don't know what would I
like just like praise her because she sings like just be all
I just don't
sing.
Like, I guess I'm not impressed by singing because I don't sing.
I wrote an article once when I was 27.
A blog.
But yeah, I was gonna say blog, but you made fun of me for that yesterday, so I audible to article. I was like 27, and it's only way more true now. Where I was like, what do people do, really?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do if you don't? I was like, I'm just like drinking, going out to dinner, like going to work, and then that's it. You know, like if you don't have hobbies or interests, what do you do with your life?
Masturbate.
I guess so. That's probably just why you end up fucking people, right?
Just jerk off until it falls off or pulls out.
So you're 38. You actually look pretty good for 38
I
because
know.
you've lived a hard 38
Well,
too.
I quit.
You should look like a bag of shit.
I know, I really
You should be dead, to be honest.
And honestly,
You should
when
be in
I
the
see
dirt.
my friends from like high school, I'm like,
Really?
well, my friends last night I saw were good, but there's a few where it's like, are you
can't believe
sure
you
you
have
didn't smoke
friends.
cigarettes? I can't believe it. My two friends from middle school came last night. I have a friend from the Virgin Islands.
Well, because you're blowing up now.
No, I've always been friends with them, but it is cool for them to come now.
Yeah, when they coming around
the
when you
audience
were
likes
like,
you.
homeless.
Always.
Yeah, all right.
My
so
friend
this is real
Nick,
friends then.
I met my friend Nick in the Virgin Islands when I was 14. I was like a bad kid, so my parents were like, let's send her away. And my brother and I were talking about this. He came last night too. There was this cousin Candia. We don't know how she's a cousin. Who is this bitch?
She
We're
was in
like,
the
how is
Virgin
she
Islands?
fucking related to us? She's the district attorney in the Virgin Islands, or she was at that time. I don't know if she's
So they were like, she's successful.
So she came to visit
send her
us,
over.
and my mom was like, yeah, Annie's like being a nightmare. And she's like, I like her, I can handle her. So my mom sent me to the Virgin Islands, to a fucking party island, when I was 14 at my height of partying. And then I met, Candia was working during the day, so I met Candia. Yeah.
Wait, you're saying Candia?
Candia.
Okay, so it's at least, I
Like
thought you were saying
Candida.
Candy, like a
Like-
fucking stripper.
like,
I was like, her name's Candy, we're going to send our teenage daughter away with this girl? Okay.
But I mean,
Candia,
still.
Okay. Yeah, it's still not great.
But so she's like, I can handle her. And so I was supposed to be there 3 weeks. I got sent home within 1 week. I got wasted, fell down the stairs. My friend's dad was pinching my ass trying to fuck me. I was like, it was like shady. If you move to an island,
I mean, that's literally...
what are you up to?
That's literally where Epstein goes. It's
Yeah,
the Virgin
exactly.
Islands. Like everybody in the Virgin Islands had known about Epstein forever. Like, oh, that's the white man's island where he like fucks all
Oh my
those
God,
girls.
what if I like...
You could have
looked
ended
like-
up on Epstein Island.
What if that was her dad? That was
What
my friend
if-
Roxanne's dad.
Or maybe not him, but like in his circle, probably was. You're lucky you didn't. They were probably
I can't
grooming
believe-
you for that.
I can't
That's probably why she
believe
took
I
you.
wasn't sold into sex trafficking.
It's stunning. I mean,
it's almost insulting.
You're like,
I talk
it's
too much,
not-
like she's a chatty
That's
one.
probably why. Your big
wasn't-
fucking mouth is what saved you.
My friend from middle school last night was like, I just remember when we were like 14 or 15 and you were like up on some hill. I can't remember where we were, but you wouldn't shut the fuck up.
That's
You
why.
just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And now I look back and I'm like, she always had it. I remember punching him in the balls too. I forgot to bring that up last night. Because he made fun of my mustache and I just fucking knocked his dick. I didn't understand.
That's
the power.
probably even though, because I feel like making fun of a young girl's mustache is gonna like cripple
My
her.
mustache, it was very, very upsetting.
If that's probably why you're alive today, because you would like you ever seen Taken?
Yeah.
You know, like the scene where they're like in the dark, like behind the glass, and they just bring a girl out and they
Yeah.
like, bid on her. They would have brought you out, and you would have been like, "What's up, guys?"
I know, I'd
Like,
be like,
"Oh, I like you."
"So,
this."
what's the deal
So who is
with-
buying
yeah.
me? Are you gonna fuck me or what? You're like, "Never mind."
Who's trying to fuck?
Take
Yeah.
her away. Get
Guys,
her
I'm
out
a
of
little
here.
young. This is illegal. Did you know that?
I mean, it's actually super awkward to laugh about all.
or
the
if
shit
I was
because-
into them, they probably would have been like,
Never
well,
mind.
I was talking about
Yeah, you
like,
probably would be hitting on them. It's okay. Let's do it for free.
well, I've been doing a bit where I'm like, I want to like find pedophiles and I want to like punish them by making them fuck me now. Like you have to bang my adult body. Like I'm gonna fucking make you fuck me, and then we're gonna go out in public and hold hands, and you're not even gonna be nervous.
To be clear, your plan is to just rape pedophiles.
Well, it would be rape.
Yeah, you are
consent
making-
would be rape for them.
You would be making them have sex with you.
Yeah,
against
with
their
my
will.
grown, regular,
Full ass
grown-up
woman body.
fucking body, bitch.
That's payback.
That's what you get.
I don't think people fully. Do you think people fully understand what you've been through? Because I think, like, you tell your story and it's very open. Like, you're talking about being molested, talking about sex work, talking about near-death experiences.
I didn't do sex
but you
work.
do it. You.
When did I do sex work?
You drop. See, I don't. That's what I mean. I don't know what the.
I ran for.
truth
Oh,
is.
you don't know that story. No, I'm always telling the truth, but you're confusing stories. I was saying I got picked up. Okay, so I already told this story on their podcast, but there was a modeling agency. This is where I'm like, this is where I really should have been sold. In Jersey City that my parents sent me to, that was just like, it was just a 6'7"
Yikes.
like drag queen named Mahogany. And he was like, it wasn't real. He was like,
Right.
making me go get weed and stuff. And I eventually like tried to escape and like had to run out. Well, I did escape. I like threw my bag out and had to like run. And I was like, this is when I was 15. I was like, call the cops. I was like running for my life and hiding behind cop cars and stuff. And when the cops came, they arrested him thinking he was my pimp.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because I was
So you
dressed
never
like Rhea
actually
as a
did it.
grown
You just
woman.
happened to look like that.
Yes. No, I never did. No, I was like a good girl. I just was put in weird situations.
Well, you were.
I mean, you're a good person. You were apparently not
Like,
good
what
enough
about-
that like your parents were like, we can control you or keep you.
But they,
like, at
you know
bay,
what's so funny?
right?
They really could have. It's like, I remember when I was 13, I was hanging out at the pool with like, there was a different pool, like we were like pool kids. And then there was like a pool that was like a neighborhood away, and they were a little way trashier than us, like just a little bit worse. Like all of them are probably got like hooked on opiates and shit like that.
So
Like
you
they're
think
probably
you're
all
a
fucked
baller?
up. Well, I went over there. I just was hanging out with them. Like I just started hanging out with them, and my twin brother told my mom, he was like, don't let her hang out with them. And my mom came to the pool and was like, screamed at me and like pulled me away from them and like I was embarrassed, but I don't know their names. I don't remember who they are. I never I look back on that as like a good moment.
Yeah, that's.
But I would have. They
good
just
sign of
weren't-
parenting.
They were just trying to be like my friend, you know.
Yeah,
that's where
you
I got
can't
it.
have that.
And
You
they're
can't
like,
be friends with your
she's
parents.
acting
You
up. I'm
gotta
like,
be-
you're just letting me out. Like,
But
of course
then,
I'm-
like, so, but all these stories about like being molested and like dark shit is true. But you're like so funny, and when you tell these stories, you kind of put like this dark humor on it.
Yeah.
And I just don't think people appreciate like it's crazy how far you've come and like what you've gone through to be here today.
Well, it's funny you say that because I must be PMSing because I'm reading comments.
Oh,
I
no.
usually am so good at not reading comments.
You gotta stop.
And I fucking read comments today, and you know what pissed me off the most? Where there were two things. One thing on the Are You Garbage was someone was saying it was hacky to say I was molested. I'm like, how is telling my life story hacky? And first of all,
That
how
might
is
be the most offensive comment,
it's
like
so
literally
crazy.
ever said.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So there was that, and then I hate when people. This is a new thing guys have started to do because I think they know like a diagnosis. But they'll be like,
Everyone's a scientist
They're
now.
like, oh, she's got borderline personality disorder. I'm like, I have PTSD from childhood trauma, and I have attention deficit disorder. I was a psychology major. I know it. I have not one symptom of any of those things.
Personality
It's so
disorder,
annoying
yeah.
because what it does is it discounts your story. It
The
makes
real
it
one, yeah, like what you
you're
actually went
crazy
through.
or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like also I try to not judge them because it's like these are just people who knows what's going on with these weirdos days that they're like commenting on a fucking YouTube video. That's
Yeah.
pretty like that's not like you're not having a good day if you're doing that.
It's crazy how much power
But I never
the
get.
collective public has though by doing that.
But
you
every
know?
once in a, but it's only if we like take it, and I never. It's like that's why I'm like, oh, I should like go buy some tampons because it's coming. If I'm like, because it's when I have all my tools, when I'm like at my best, none of
you
that.
don't even read it.
It doesn't.
Do you
doesn't
don't even
matter.
look at it, or you can read it and be like whatever.
Both.
Yeah.
Like
Because
it won't
I
even
feel like when
occur to
people
me.
say I don't ever read comments, I don't look at anything. I feel like they're lying. I think that you're gonna see some tweets, you're gonna have curiosity, and then it's just all about whether or not you let that like in and actually
It's
affect
also
you.
yeah, but it's also like if you're not reading comments, are you doing that because you're so scared of them? Like have you
Right.
overcome it, or are you just like
That's what
because
I'm saying.
there are certain
The-
things that I don't do. Like I don't watch true crime. I don't watch like negative things because I'm like, why am I gonna watch like murder and then live this world looking like everyone's gonna fucking stab me or something?
That's interesting.
But you see, like you'll see people that like watch
You're-
true crime all the time. They're paranoid.
Yeah. I mean, well, right, because it's like it could be anybody. But also, like the life you've lived is already enough to make you
I know.
paranoid. So, like, that's
That's why I'm
what's
like in
crazy.
horror movies that better not have good acting. I like horror movies with bad acting. Like
Yeah, so you
the
can just,
hills,
like,
the hills
forget
are
about it.
alive with fucking that rape scene where I'm like too good of acting,
Yeah,
traumatizing.
right. That shit's.
You're
that's
just like, is this a
intense. That's
snuff
harsh.
film? You need like shitty acting so you can be detached.
No, I hear that, but I think that the best spot to be would be like I could read all the comments in the world.
Yeah.
And it just truly doesn't bother me.
Well, you want to I want to know if I'm doing something that's completely like.
Sometimes there's good.
I am here to
feedback.
I am here to entertain people. Like I do need to just stay true to what I like to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's nice to know if you're not like. If you're steering in a direction people aren't interested in or whatever.
But I mean, then you get once you're also big enough that you have like haters who are like they're just
Yeah.
gonna hate everything you do, then you can never trust anything they say.
And also, it's just like very much just in the beginning when you start a project, you want to make sure you're not like the mic's
Yes.
close enough and stuff like that. You're
Yeah,
not
and then
like
eventually
popping
it's just
people's
like,
ears out.
what fucking
And then
ever.
it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. But it is the more that I just like focus on like what do I like, what do I want to do, the better I am. But
Yeah, but I mean, you are. It's impressive how like much perseverance you have because I feel like most
know,
people
it's
would have
pretty
packed
cool,
it
right?
up and.
well, what would they do? I think it's like I like this is what I like. I like talking about the shit I've been through. I like that people come up to me after shows and they're like, I had a similar like guys and girls. They'll be like, I had a similar
Yeah.
childhood, like stuff
That's
like
huge.
that. That to me feels really good, and it's like I feel like you're not really supposed to admit that in comedy that you want to have like a positive impact. I feel like there's something about comedy where
Fuck
you're supposed to be
that.
like, I'm just
I'm just
like,
doing it for
whatever.
laughs or whatever.
Or you're
like,
not supposed to call yourself an artist. Or, it's like, I am a fucking artist, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I really, like, I am.
Have you seen the abs she can draw on?
Look, I
She's
can
a
draw
fucking
abs.
artist. Yeah.
They stay on. Ria's like, do you do this every day? I'm like, they just stay on. It's a
At this
good
point,
makeup.
it's just permanent.
But yeah, I got them tattooed. But no, I really do like that. And it's like a newer thing where I'm really starting to see like that I'm having this like positive reach on people and it's nice. It's like really good. It's not necessarily like there's no punchline in that, but it's great. It's like it feels good.
We get that, and we don't even talk about like profound things. People are just like, I was going through a horrible time, and your show was what like got me through it. And I'm like, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, you know, if I was actually telling my story and like people were relating to that, I feel like I would be even more like flattered and motivated and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, fuck that. That it's like you're not supposed like
But
like
why
it's
was I
lame
even-
or something.
yeah, I know,
like
and
it's not cool to admit that you're like helping people. Fuck that.
It's just like really a fun position to be in to have like, especially now that I have like a lot of girls watching my podcast and stuff. It's cool because I always had like
all dudes,
which is fine. I like, that's fun. But it's like, I kind of already like know that. And so it was cool to like, to be able to show girls like not that they don't have to be like victims of things. Like you don't have to be like complaining or like thinking things are unfair. Just like take your life, no matter what happened, you're fine. Like just like make it what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
being so not funny. This is a TED Talk. Sorry.
No, it's interesting though, because I mean, yeah, you are like the furthest thing I would call from a victim, even though you are a victim of some horrible shit.
Yeah, but it's like, why
Like
would
the
I live
mentality
like,
and
what a lame existence to live like as a victim of your circumstances. Like when you can just like have I mean, because that's what I'm saying. Like when I was like living in I was like, this is just not adding up. Like why am I living in my car? And I was still happy. Like I still like, when you like have your dream job, whether you're making fucking, you know, $600 a month or, you know, whatever.
Or whatever you're making now.
20 million a month. It's good. It's like, it's still, I've always enjoyed it, but it's, you know, I just was like stressed and just added stress. Like when I woke up this morning, I was feeling like it's like, what is like, why? There's no reason to.
Well,
everything's good.
Yeah, well, I mean, for you, it's like everything now seems infinitely better than what it was. But also, like, I guess it seems like you have processed all of that shit already and like gone through it and truly the same way that you can like if you could read the comments and truly not let it bother you. It feels like you've truly like processed all that trauma.
Which fucking I can literally do it 2 weeks out of the month, and then the other 2 weeks I'm like, Lord help us all.
It just eats you up. Yeah.
It's just I'm just like a little more
sensitive. So it does go like you'll have. It will not bother me. Like your past still affects you.
What's that?
You'll have your moments where your past still affects you.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
but
of course,
like,
right? I don't know if
I can get out of it.
That kind of shit is something that you just like fully get rid of.
I have PTSD, so sometimes I get triggered, but I've worked on like managing my triggers. And like I used to twitch. I don't like twitch anymore. But
like how?
Like I would just like, I don't know, I would twitch. But then when I did ayahuasca, I had this like vision. It was right after Brody Stevens had killed himself. And we were all just like, it was just so bad. And then, oh my God. And then when I did ayahuasca, I had this like vision of Brody, and I felt like there was like this thing coming out of me when I was throwing up, and it felt like an egg or something. And then when it came out, a bird flew out, and then I was like, it feels like there's like a bird inside me when I'm twitching. It's weird.
You gotta
like
get
something
it out.
I need to get out. But
that's why that shit scares me.
It was cool though.
I feel like I got a lot going on up here that would manifest itself. And
well, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, but
don't
also,
ever do it.
But also, that's when you need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
when
great.
when you have shit inside that you like. I feel like people like don't do that stuff if you're in a bad mental state. Don't do it. It's like, but that's what it's supposed to cure is the bad mental state.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want to do. Like, you should just never. I don't think you should ever go into something and never like get pressured in, especially something like that. But people that want to do it, it's like you find it. It just like comes to you. It's a cool thing. It's been awesome. A lot of comics are doing it now.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
How is that in comparison to the hypnosis?
Well, the hypnosis is interesting because I'm like, wow, maybe I didn't need to do all that ayahuasca. Like my shaman's back in town.
There's a lot like safer, normal way to do this.
My shaman's back in town. It's just hard. I mean, it's like when you do an ayahuasca trip, it's like you have to face a lot of things, you know? And it's not that, it's like important to do that, but.
How long does that last?
6 hours.
So if it's going bad, you're trapped for a while.
But it's not like it goes bad. It's like, it's both things
well, it didn't
at
for
all
you,
times.
But
it's like, it's both things. It's like, really, what can you like do? Like, I always just tell myself to be brave. Like, just be brave.
Yeah, I'm a pussy.
But you know what scares me more is like the light. You know, it's not like the dark. It's like you get like overwhelmed by like the light of things. I don't know. I always have this like vision of like, I don't know if there was like a Bible thing or something, but it's like you can't look at if you look directly into the light, you cease to exist because you realize you are the light. I don't know if that's like a God thing or something.
Yeah, that sounds like some weird religious shit.
It's like
that
a
maybe
God
they
thing
put
or
on you
whatever.
at some point.
No, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like this. If you
So like
go
the
into like
positivity makes you
if you
uncomfortable?
go into your full like it's like maybe
Like you're comfortable in the
something.
negative. You're uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like
on
you can kind of
positivity.
control things.
I
if
know
you're
that
negative.
feeling. I definitely know that feeling. But that's also there's probably some psychological that's probably some textbook shit.
Like for my Quakerism.
Yeah, what's that about?
Quaker's not
What
like
is a
Quaker's
Quaker
show.
school?
Quaker.
Is that like
Quaker
Amish?
School,
Quakers?
It's not Amish, but it's in Pennsylvania. It's tri-state area. It started, but there's Quakers all over. But there's two different types of Quakers. There's programmed Quakers and unprogrammed Quakers. Programmed Quakers have like a service. People talk. There's I don't know if a preacher or whatever. I've never been to a programmed one, but unprogrammed Quakers are like, it's like hippie shit. You all sit in a meeting house. You all sit on these wood benches facing each other. And like my meeting house when I was a kid had a fire going. There'd be like a fire popping. It was cool. And you just sit in silence. And then if you feel moved to speak. My mom took us to the Quaker school when I was like 3. And then so I went to Quaker meeting up until the pandemic a little bit. I started going again. It was fun. It's nice. Yeah, it's cool. It's like
So wait, you're sitting around the fire and
so you sit and like facing each other on these benches, and then you sit in silence, and then if you feel moved to speak, you stand up and speak. So it's like obviously I
doesn't
became
sound
a
so
stand-up
bad.
comedian. You can say whatever you want.
that's probably another time they're like, Annie, sit down.
I know. I'm
not,
like, so
it's not your
have you ever
turn.
sucked black dick? They're like, but it's like a really accepting religion, so you can do whatever you want. Like one time I cursed in meeting, and I was like,
Ooh,
I feel powerful.
Baller. So you do that, and then what's weird is you have a twin brother. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you did a lot of weird shit, or went through a lot of weird shit. Did he, or was he just off being
not really.
normal?
He was
That
being normal.
fucking sucks.
Well, it's just
Got
I'm
the
a girl.
short end of that twin
I just
stick.
think my parents didn't know like how to handle a girl. My mom's like really like a tomboy. She was adopted, and she was always trying to like be cool with guys and stuff. So she never she didn't know, and she also didn't get her period till she was after she had us. She had like a tumor in her pituitary gland. I didn't know that. I just found this out. And then so she took like fertility drugs to get pregnant. And then so she just didn't have like the experience of being the full experience, the regular experience of being a girl.
A woman, yeah.
So she was like closed off to her femininity, and then they just didn't understand like my hormones running around. Like,
Yeah.
It's so funny to talk about this in front of a room full. That's why I like having this bitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's
But it's just
certain
like, you
things,
just
if
are
you,
like,
if
you
you
know,
do
you've
not,
been married.
But here's the thing, like, I mean, as a dad, I have a daughter, like, I know that I'm not going to get it, but I can, like, recognize that that's what's going to happen, and it's going to be different, and not to just be like, don't know what we're doing, send her off.
Yeah. Send her to the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, you know.
She'll come back with a broken foot. So fun.
I mean, I've heard you say, like, you were saying, I forgive my parents,
Yeah,
it's all good. But, like, was there a time where you didn't? I mean,
Yeah, I was so pissed. Well, I had to go through like the whole like range of being like so mad at them. Because I detached myself from the situation. I would tell jokes about it like when it first happened. And I would like so for like 10 years, I was just like, oh, isn't it hilarious? My teacher jerked off on me. Like, ha, 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 like stuff like that. Like, funny, going to court, ha, ha, everyone called me a liar, ha, ha. And then,
Jesus Christ.
And then
Are you doing that, like...
Not now, no.
No, but like, were you doing that, like a defense
Yeah,
mechanism?
for sure, definitely.
Like
But
if
I
you
didn't
didn't
even
actually think
realize-
it was funny, you were just like, I'm gonna, like,
No, I did
vent
think
about
I
this
think
way.
I did think it was funny.
Yeah?
But
was it funny? Was the material funny and you thought it was, like, was it good
It wasn't like I
comedy
wasn't
material?
I wasn't doing stand-up yet, so that's where it was weird. I was just
Got
like
it.
this girl like sitting next to you in a car, like telling you some weird thing.
Right.
But it was just like, I would like say it and then like close the door, be like, bye,
See ya.
and I thought
Yeah.
it'd be funny or whatever. But
Was that Quaker school, by the way?
no, that was
'cause you
alternative
were-
school.
you were-
that was like the juvenile delinquent school.
Oh, all right. So that makes
They
sense.
like
where
to
there's
fuck
some-
the kids. Careful.
Yikes.
Careful.
That's
but
so fucking gross.
I know, but maybe funny.
Was there any
I wish I wasn't as
just
tired,
sad
so I
there?
wouldn't look sad when I was telling this thing. Well, I went to court. He got like 3 years probation, and then like wasn't allowed to teach. But then he was gonna work with
I would fucking...
at-risk kids too. Again, but I talked about it on Mark Maron's podcast, and I blocked his ass.
Good. Fucking superhero over
Yeah,
here.
fucking idiot. But that's why during like the Me Too movement, I was like kind of triggered because I was like, where were you guys when I was doing when I actually was like sitting in court and shit. But that was like a thing I had to get through too, because it's like other people's experiences are none of my business and how they handle things.
Well, you kind of mentioned it when we did the other interview, but like, did you feel compelled to get in on the movement and like?
I had like a moment where I was like kind of like triggered into it, and then honestly, once the hashtag came out, I was like, these are not all the same.
What's the what?
Once the hashtag, the Me Too hashtag came out, it was like, I don't.
Are you
I
saying
think
hashtag?
Hashtag. Did I say it wrong?
It sounded like you're saying
hashtag. Maybe I
okay.
did. Who cares? I add a little extra something.
Yeah, a little spice on it. Hashtag. But then it kind of became like a.
Well, I was just like, these are not the same, and when you group things
Yeah.
together, things get really like dangerous,
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
all of a sudden like schmapes or rapes, and you know like things, and then it's like who's accountable for what in these
sure, I get
situations,
that. I get
and like
that.
everyone.
That's where when it's like, you know, you can't compare, and you know, it's not about like who's worse than the other, and it's like, I
Right.
get that, but we need to distinguish
Yeah.
some things here. But
Yeah.
you say that, especially as
Yeah,
a
and then
guy,
you're,
it's
like,
like you're a
victim
fucking
shaming
monster,
or
right?
whatever, yeah.
It's like, okay, I get that, but you know, Harvey Weinstein's very different than like, you know, your boyfriend who there was a bad breakup or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it is an
So-
interesting. Yeah, it's like all of those like it was just insane. But I just have learned to kind of like mind my own business and just not. And you get in trouble. People like yell at you for that. They're like, "Well, you're supposed to be."
complicit and you're not,
it's like,
yeah.
motherfuckers, I sat in court. Like,
You did
we're
your,
done.
you did your
I'm
thing,
done.
yeah. But also, and even if you didn't want to do that, like to me, that's like on a much lesser level when people tell me like, you need to use your platform for X, Y, Z. It's like, I don't need to do a fucking
You can do-
thing.
I honestly-
use my platform to like pay my bills and fucking, you know, support my kids.
I
That's
use
what
my
I use my
platform to show people that you can use your fucking platform for whatever the fuck
yes,
you want. Like,
yes.
I am not like, I'm not here to parrot what other people tell me to do. I'm not here to like get someone's message across. Like,
Right. My fucking message, that's it.
It's like, yeah, it's like I'm here, like I fucking went through a lot of shit to get here. I'm very happy to be here. I've worked through all my shit. I'm like, I'm happy. It made me funny. Like all of these things, like I've learned all these things. It's like, I'm gonna do me. I don't have a platform because I followed everyone's rules. I have a platform because I fucking didn't. So back the fuck
Right.
up. I'm not here to speak some words that someone else wants me to say. Like all these people that get mad at you too, it's like, you have one agenda, someone else has another agenda. What you think is not right. Like there is no right or wrong. It's like,
It's all just like opinion.
yeah,
based,
it's your
right,
interpretation. People like you can have. I could have a completely different conversation with you than you're having with me.
Right, for sure.
Our memories are bad. It's like there's just a million things that could happen. So it's just I don't know. I just try to like mind my own business.
What I think is crazy about you is that all like up until pretty recently you were still like going through like career wise, it was not thriving until what, like within the last couple of years? 3 years?
Maybe I don't know. I always, you know what? I was always kind of doing well, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I guess
enough.
like that's kind of
Because
semantics, but it's like
no, but
I
it
mean,
is.
When
But
was the
it's
last time?
like
Let's say this. When was the last time you were living in a car?
like maybe 4 years ago.
That's not that long
I
ago,
know.
Andy. That's my point. Like
In and out. I
like
had
you
more,
had
I had more
done
friends
Chelsea
by then.
lately and been on TV.
No, I
and,
was like, yeah, and then go sleep in my car after Chelsea. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I had my own TV show and everything. But that's because I didn't know
you had
how
your
to
own
like.
TV show and you were living in a car.
Not then. No, I had money that year.
What was your show?
It was called We Have Issues. It was me and Julie McCullough. It was like a two-headed talk show on E when they were trying to replace Chelsea. It was only 4 episodes.
That's why I feel like I always knew your name.
Yeah,
it was
no, I
always
was
out there for a
around.
long time.
But I wasn't. I mean, I got a lot of stuff before I was ready, and so I really
Mm-hmm.
am very happy with my trajectory. And I think that like, you know, everything in life happens at the right time that you need it to happen. And
whether or not you even realize it. At
yeah,
the moment,
yeah.
You know?
My dad. I was talking to my dad's 80, and he was telling me some story about some time he was laughing in his office back in the day, and he was like, you know, he's like, my life has always been so fun. He's like, I didn't always notice it, but it's always been so fun.
It's I mean, great outlook to
Yeah.
have. I mean, I feel like you have that
Well,
similar
I think I'm gonna
vibe,
peak in my 80s, so I'm like,
but like your life, you know, has not been so fun at times. But I feel like you think that about
it's
yourself.
always been fun.
Yeah,
though.
that's like
It's
no.
always been fun. Like it's
That's
always been
crazy to me.
interesting and fun. I never run out of stories. Like more, I remember more stuff all the time. I'm like, holy shit. And it's great. It's cool. It's like I don't, you know, maybe it would have been nice to not have these things happen, but also it's like.
Boring then.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like.
I mean,
because I was watching this Eckhart Tolle thing where he was saying, he's like, you either have these like things happen to you, right, or the thing that happens to you is that nothing happened to you.
Right. Either way, you end up with issues.
We're all the same. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm like trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have this through line in my comedy that's like, let's make fun of everyone because like we are all the same. It's like this differentiating thing, like where we're, You know, it's like, I'm not that different from Miss Pat.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm really not. And I think our message is very similar too, you know?
Yeah, that's why I loved we put you guys on the same episode, and it was like, these are just two like bad bitches who don't give a fuck, who went through some shit and didn't. And the same way she was, you know, talking about her show being like, not preaching a message, I'm not telling you, it's not for white or black, just fucking everybody, and it's funny, and like, that's it.
Well, people, after I did Breakfast Club, people were like, wow, that's not really your demo. I'm like, my demo is people. Like,
humans.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are we doing? Why are we trying to like segregate people?
People with a sense of humor, people who like interesting shit, like, that's it.
Like, how like fucking racist is your brain if you're thinking that way?
Yeah. Also, it's like, isn't that the whole point? It's like, make your demo bigger, make your bubble bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to have like a crazy, full mixed audience.
Hell yeah. But like, so you and Miss Pat, I get what you're saying, but like, you and Miss Pat versus somebody who's had just like a pretty smooth upbringing, a lot of differences.
But there's something.
A lot of similarities, though. Yeah, there is
always something. It's like, it's just, we're all experiencing the same thing. We're all gonna fucking die and fizzle out into the same.
Well, I also think what's interesting is like, maybe the experiences aren't the same, but the way your brain is reacting to it are similar. So it's like when seniors in college are freaking out because of their midterms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, these kids don't know, you know, but it's like, to them, that's the most harrowing thing they've gone through is that test.
It's just,
and their brain's probably freaking out the same way yours is when you were running for your life, because
crazy
you've seen
to
more.
see,
but
yeah, but it's crazy to see, like, if you see like what you used to freak out about, you know, and then you see everyone that age like does the same thing.
Yes,
it's like so weird. Where you're like,
or even little things like, I look back when I like used to think I didn't have time to do something.
Yeah.
Like, you literally had all the time. And I know 10 years from now, I'll be looking at this being like, you had the time then.
Or like when people are like, I'm so old. I'm like, you are the youngest you're ever going to fucking be.
Right,
like,
fucking
got
now.
to shut the fuck up.
Like, stop with that nonsense.
I did feel old though going through. I was like, went to the East Village and I was like, went into the coffee shop. Did I tell you guys this yesterday? I think it was after I was here. I went into the coffee shop that I used to go to when I worked at this one restaurant that no longer exists. And I started talking to the guy and I was like, I used to work at when it used to be, and I was like, oh my God, I'm turning into that. I'm like, I should fucking pop my teeth out.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus. But you see it like, you know, like with the guys at the Comedy Store, like they'll be like, back in my day. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
or like, I was like,
shit.
Leno did some time on my show at the, he opened for me at Quakers.
Yeah, Potter was telling me about that.
Yeah, it was
he was
so
with you,
cool.
right? Yeah.
But he was like telling us about like, you know, a little bit about like David Letterman and stuff. And I was just like,
bad stuff?
No, it was just, but I was just like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know if I care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Like, I was like, Jay is like amazing, but I'm like, you know.
It's all old news at this point.
I'm just like, I don't know David Letterman.
Yeah, right.
He's not on TV.
It's not moving in the needle.
And it's not that he's like not relevant, but it's like, it's just, you know, you just have your time. You know, and you see people kind of like clinging to relevancy, all this stuff. You're just like, oh, just be yourself.
Gotta age, just don't age appropriately and like.
But yeah, just be yourself. Like everyone's got fucking Botox. They look crazy. It's so insane.
There's something about like, well, you can't change it. Like it's not, you're not going to convince them. I'm very much with all internet stuff having like a fan base. It's like the people who like you already like you and probably don't care. The people who don't like you cannot be convinced otherwise.
It's really
you could
just,
like give them all the evidence to the contrary and they'd be like, whatever.
Yeah,
fuck
it's
you
whatever.
still.
It's just how you feel about yourself. So like that's why when I'm like, what's going on? Whenever I feel anything about any comment, if I'm feeling pumped, gassed up by something, or like taken out by one, I'm like, what's going on with me? Like I have to like shift something because I'm not like in the right headspace, because this is like
that shouldn't affect you one way or the other.
Like that means like I'm not feeling good about myself. I don't like myself right now.
What feedback like do you value? Like other comics, family, friends?
Yeah, dude. I have like, I printed out, there were some text messages, like Rogan sent me a text message once that was like, after the Comedy Store documentary came out, I got a lot of like my heroes kind of sent me things. And I do have to say that anyone I have ever admired and really like truly like looked at, like Louis, like obviously like his stand-up is just number one. It's so good.
It's so funny.
David Cho, like there's just so many people like whose art and stuff that I really like. I do always like end up meeting them, and they do kind of see it in me. You know what I mean? Like it's like a thing where I'm like, it does feel like I'm able to manifest some stuff more than I thought when I was like living as a victim of my circumstances. Like I really just
because you got over that and because you lived that way. Yeah, I think I just stopped being like
you just focus on the good things, you keep building what you're doing, and
does it bother you when you see people who have gone through a fraction of what you have that can't do that same like
It doesn't bother me. I just
you
feel
pity
bad
them
for
almost,
yeah,
right?
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
it's
that
like,
sucks.
if you can't
but
get through
hopefully
this,
they can get to what they need to get to. It's just, I mean, it's taken me a long time. Like I had to do a lot of work on myself, and I went through a lot of like different phases of things. But
what's crazy is you did it all while still like working, like you said, like Chelsea and your own show,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
that's what's good about stand-up. Even if you're not good, you can always go to an open mic. I mean, you never have to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends, it's funny, a lot of my friends stopped doing it. I can't believe it. I'm like, how did you stop doing stand-up? This was like the thing that we were like never going to stop doing.
And do they just go like get
they
regular jobs?
become writers
So
or
it's like still in the industry a little bit, but
it's
not,
just like not the same. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you guys are, well, I think that's actually like the right move. Because I feel like you're all sick in the fucking head, comics.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think if you have that epiphany that it's like, I like telling some jokes on stage, but I'm not like living this like the way you
some
got
people
it.
are so talented.
Give me these.
My
I'm
friend
sick of
Dan.
you fucking doing this. I'm wearing them.
My friend Dan, Noise, gonna get another scandal with that. Doesn't that look like the picture they'd use?
Probably. You know what I mean though? Like it's like you guys are like, I'm going up like 7 nights a week,
I don't do
4 sets a night.
I don't do 4. I don't do multiple sets a night anymore, but unless.
But
it's
you did,
headlining.
right?
Unless it's headlining, yeah, I used to do it
You
all
used
the
to
time.
have, you know.
But I quit drinking and went right into comedy, so I was like, I put
One
all of my
addiction to
like
another.
alcoholism
Yeah.
into that, which I think was like a real.
That's probably, I mean, it's
advantage.
better than the alternative. Like, it's better than continuing drinking.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like that's got to be unhealthy to an extent, too, no? Or you think it's such a positive, like, there's no downside to it that you can do it more and more and more. But I feel like when the pandemic hit and people could get on stage, I feel like some of you guys, like,
Well, I
died.
liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a break I never would have taken.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. I worked on myself. I like had to face this bitch and
Mm-hmm. It's a big fucking, that's
Yeah.
the final boss. Is
Yeah,
like
and it
facing
was-
yourself.
well, it's you. I mean, I remember I smoked DMT and I was like catapulted into this like kaleidoscope place and I was in this like weird
Is that
shape.
good or bad?
It was beautiful. It was like I was like, how am I here? How did I get to be here? But I was like, this is so beautiful, and I started to think. I went, oh, I got to bring like my mom here, and then this woman who I think is like the mother ayahuasca that everyone talks about. This woman goes, no, it's you, and then she broke my neck, and I was in another like part of this cube, and so I moved like this. I was like, and then I was like,
wait.
oh, I want to bring what's that?
This mother ayahuasca thing. Everybody kind of has like the similar.
I don't know if there's a lot of
like
similar things like this shape that I'm talking about. People see in DMT a lot, which is like it's like
really
a
cool.
dimension that doesn't.
That
exist.
makes me feel like you really do like travel somewhere. If
It's
people have
really
similar
I think I know what it feels like to die.
because of ayahuasca.
Yeah, and it feels really fucking good. Like really good. Like all of us, no matter what you do, equalize out in a beautiful.
And then do you feel some sort of like you get like sucked back to life, sort of?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry I interrupted. So mother
No, that's
ayahuasca
okay.
breaks
But
your
she,
neck. You go to a different
and then
place.
I go to a different place. I go, oh, I want to bring my friend Abby. Breaks my neck again. She goes, it's you. And I think I just like, I was really afraid of, like, being too narcissistic. My mom told me once that like a therapist diagnosed me as narcissistic when I was
Yeah, I mean,
young
you're
or
stand-up
whatever.
comic.
Yeah, I know, but obviously I'm on
Before
the
that.
spectrum of narcissism. But
Yeah.
but I just it hurt me so much, and I was like so worried about that because I was like, you know, I was like a special ed teacher. I was doing all this stuff. I was like, wait, I'm a narcissist, and I just to
special
me
ed
it was
teacher?
really bad. Well, I said a special ed. I worked with kids with special needs. I was a special ed. I taught at like a community college with them. I was like an assistant teacher, and then with the special ed. Like the special ed kids that graduated from high school, we did a thing with them called the sex class, where we taught them how to like go on dates and like their sexual
cute.
rights. It was really cute, and how to like they would like call ahead to a movie to see how long it was going to take, so they could call their driver and see how much time they needed. It was
Very
actually so cute.
yeah.
And then,
See, that's some real, actual good people shit, you know?
but then I worked at summer camp at Easter Seals for 4 years.
With what?
It was Easter Seals, so it was like kids with spina bifida and cerebral palsy and stuff
okay.
like that. It was really fun. That was great.
I feel like, you've done it
As a
all. Like,
behavioral,
you've done it
autistic,
from, you
behavioral.
know, like go-go dancing to
Yeah,
special
yeah.
ed to comedy
I know,
to
sometimes
TV
the
to...
same day. The kids loved
duality
a good dance.
of man,
It was
you
just
know?
so weird, you know. Sometimes I forgot where I was. I was
Yeah, it's like, which hat
I was
am
like,
I
oh, I
wearing?
thought this was a podium. It's really just a wheelchair? My bad. Whoops. I don't know how to work all the wheelchairs. Yeah, but so that really kind of like got to me. And then my dad, I brought that up to him recently, and he was like, did your mom not tell you the rest of the story? I was like, what? And he's like, we told the woman she was wrong. You're absolutely not narcissistic, and we pulled you and took you away from her. And I was like, oh.
That part doesn't.
My mom forgot to tell me that part.
Yeah, I feel like narcissistic is one of those words. It's like such a buzzword right now.
Right.
That people are throwing around. But narcissistic and gaslight.
Yeah, I know.
As a guy, like, I mean, I just hear every
just
episode.
also-
Watch an episode of The Bachelorette or The Bachelor.
Oh,
whatever,
yeah, that was a lot,
Everything
yeah.
is he's a narcissist who's gaslighting me. It's like, well, maybe you actually are a little bit crazy.
Yeah,
Like
but-
I love when people are like you're narcissistic, especially like in a relationship where it's like I'm telling you like my side of it, my
Right.
feelings about it. You know, you're so narcissistic. It's like, well, I'm telling you about me,
You know
so
what
yeah,
it
I
is?
guess
There's
that's
a lot
narcissism.
of like YouTube videos on like what is narcissism, what are all these things? But I'm like, why did my comments today all of a sudden say borderline? Like, who the fuck ever talks
That's
about
like
that?
everyone is now
They
a
have, like,
fucking
a new
armchair
thing,
philosopher,
and you're like, what the fuck is this?
psychiatrist, scientist, doctor. It's like you're gaslighting me.
No, the
I'm telling
gaslighting.
you
It's
that I
like
think
any terms
you're-
that are new, I hate.
and they latch onto them and they fucking beat them.
Well,
to
you know what
death.
Rob Schneider told me? This is so funny. Triggered,
Yep, that's a big
safe
one.
space.
Yep.
All of those words, they were originally in autism, and that's true. I remember that from when I was doing behavioral therapy.
What would trigger like you know?
Like that's for an autistic kid.
Yeah.
You need a safe space for a kid on the spectrum.
Right. Think about it. Apply
Everybody's
that,
on the spectrum
you
now.
know?
But you know what is funny? A lot of people are. Like, and it
Oh
gives
my God,
me like, it lets me
everybody on
give
some
people
level.
grace because I'm like, oh, yeah, that's just like a little aspy.
Right, and you can't help it. And,
You're just
know,
a little.
You don't even recognize
everyone's
it.
just doing their own thing, and when I like, we should never take anything fucking personally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's again what I'm saying. Like, whenever I do, I'm like, this is like a me issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the gaslighting, oh, that's so annoying. My truth,
stop.
like, what are you talking about? There's the truth. What do you mean my
yeah,
truth?
it's not. It doesn't belong
I
to
say
you.
them like as a joke or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
speak my truth.
all this
Even like so many like troll has
Right.
been completely bastardized. Where it's like if you disagree with my opinion, I'm a
Yeah.
troll. It's like no, you just don't agree with me.
I know.
You know, I'm not saying this out of nowhere. I think the opposite of you. I'm not trolling you.
Yeah.
I'm not a troll.
So many
everyone's
trolls,
just
though.
become. Yeah, there are real
My
trolls.
friends
no
are
doubt,
like
but-
troll. I'm like, I was just with Ari Shafir. I'm like the king troll.
Yeah, that's some
King
troll. I
troll.
used to love. I like when Barstool was smaller. It was basically like anonymous trolling because we would write an article about a celebrity or react to something in the news. And now it gets back to that person. So
But
I'm like,
it's-
well, fuck, I can't tell you what I
and then-
really think
but
because
here's
you're
the
going to
thing.
see it. Someone's going to
And-
send it to you.
And then
Fuck.
it's hurting. And then it's
Yes.
like, but it's like,
and I don't
why
wanna
is
do
this
that.
hurting you?
I know.
And then the
and
whole
I don't want to
idea-
give in, but
Yeah.
I also don't want to hurt you. So I'm not going to
I
write it. I'm not
know,
going to
it's
say it.
so
I'm not going
weird.
to do it. But it's like, fuck, that used to be my, what I found funny, or I still find funny. But that used to be what I would write or say, and now I can't do it. But why does that hurt you?
But it's like
just
now
fucking-
it's like, okay, so like I remember Paris Hilton getting mad at Sarah Silverman for something she had said like 15 years ago on a roast or something, or on I think it was at an award ceremony or something, and I think
Okay.
it was about maybe when she was like flashed her pussy to the camera or something, which it's like, did you seriously not do that on purpose?
Right,
I'm so sorry,
right.
like I'm so confused. If you just had like, and it's not my business, and maybe she did, it was an accident, but it's like if you just had this like horrible thing happen with this sex tape being released, wouldn't you wear underwear in public?
Right, and
But
be
maybe,
like super.
but I'm wrong.
But I don't know. Maybe
but
not.
I don't know.
she was
Maybe
like,
it was like completely a fucking accident. And if that's what she says, then that's what it is. But it's like, so then she's mad at Sarah Silverman. Then Sarah Silverman's like, how could I have done that? And all that stuff. It's like, do you want to know how you could have done that? Because award ceremonies fucking suck unless you're making fun of them. You have to have a sense of humor about yourself. And it's like, I feel that way with comics too. It's like, that's why if I get like salty, if someone's making a joke or trying to be fun, it's like, why am I getting mad? They're just trying to make fun. They're trying to do what I do. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, unless you cross like a crazy line, it's all
Well,
in the
what's
name
the
of like.
line? Are you physically assaulting me? Like, what line
Yeah,
can
yeah,
you
yeah.
say? Like,
Well, no,
what can you say that's like, if I'm healthy emotionally, what can someone possibly say to me that's...
Yeah, but I'm just saying if you're going for a joke and it's like, I don't know, I'm just clowning you about your dead mom or something like that. It's like, well, that's not that funny. But I think intent always kind of matters. You can say whatever you want, but if it comes across as
I'll
like
just
you're an
never
asshole,
come at people for like saying anything. Like, things aren't my taste. Like, and I'll be like, ugh, I wouldn't say
that's
that.
fine. I asked
But it's like-
asked Paul Verzi this the other day. Do you think you've ever been offended
Yeah, I
about anything? You actually
I
like,
think I've gotten
I am
offended,
offended over
and
this.
then I like have to snap out of it because it's like, why
Yeah.
am I fucking offended?
Right, but you check
I got
yourself.
offended by the bipolar or the borderline personality thing.
Yeah.
Why?
But I also think that's more like you can have a reaction and disagree or hate something or whatever, but did you have a moment of like, I can't believe someone would say that? Because I don't know if I've ever felt that. And certainly not about like a joke or something like that. Sometimes I'll be like, ooh, that went too far, or like, ooh, whatever. But I don't think I've ever been.
No, I haven't really
that
been.
like visceral reaction.
I
like,
think,
oh my God.
I think it's fun when horrible things happen to make jokes. Like I think that's like the joy of life is to laugh. That's like the one way you get through everything.
I was
gonna
say, you're living living proof right there, you know?
I know, it's so weird. I just like never thought it was that big a deal, the stuff I went through until I got older. I was like, oh.
But you know it now, right?
Yeah, I know. But also,
you know it's like wildly impressive, right?
I do feel, I'm proud of myself. I'm
you
proud
should
of myself. I think back on it and like, yeah, it's cool.
If you go back to the car, we got some problems.
I'm not going back to the car.
If you live in the car for the third time, fourth time, whatever it is.
Oh, I'll put it on that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're gonna get to a point where living in the car is like better.
Yeah.
So, I live inside my Tesla. Have you seen that? There's TikToks where people like they put the seats down, they put the fucking like TV on the ceiling. I'm like, this is nicer than my apartment.
That's so funny. So where do they shower, at the gym?
I guess I don't know. I think it's when they're hanging out in it, they're living in it, but
they're just trying to go viral.
Yeah, the fact that you like were in the car, made it out, went back.
I know, but I didn't.
It's much like your school burning down twice and getting
funny,
you and your college are the same.
I know.
You made it through the first time.
I'm the Phoenix.
Yeah.
But the college didn't make it.
Santa Fe University or whatever.
I've beaten my own college.
There you go.
I feel good. I feel good.
What's next?
I'm happy. I'm just doing more road stuff for as long as I can, and then I think I want to write a book. I want to like write all these stories out.
You should, and you should do it before like you forget it or you know, or you're not motivated anymore.
I know, because I've been thinking about it for a while, and now I'm starting to like actually have the urge to do it. I'm writing a movie with
that would crush.
Yeah, I'm writing a movie with Bonnie McFarlane that's fucking so funny.
What's that about?
I can't say.
You bitch.
NDA, but it's
you could do a movie about your shit too. Write the book and option it to a movie.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then I have a friend who has a deal with a pretty good network that she just texted me yesterday and was like, let's make a TV show. And I was like, okay.
Must be nice.
Done.
Must be nice.
Yeah, but it's good. It's like.
Are you a person who can like enjoy what you got in the moment?
Yeah.
Are you like, I gotta do a book,
I try to, but that's what I was thinking when I was in a negative mood today. I was like, because I've been away from my dog and my boyfriend for a while, and I just.
How long?
Like 8 days, maybe. It's just been a while, and then I only come up for like 2 days at a time, and I just was like, I don't know, feeling that. And I got my brother came last night, and it was like good to see him, but I always get like sad when my brothers leave. I'm like,
Yeah.
But he came. I let him do stand up on my show.
Really?
I got video of it. It was so bad.
Terrible? Yeah.
It was funny though.
Did he want to, or were you like put him on the spot and made him?
My whole family wants.
To do stand up? Oh.
They're like everyone's jazz hands.
Well, he's fucking. He's like a producer or something, right?
Well, my twin brother he works at at NBC Sports in Boston. He's like the Celtics guy. He's a producer and he does some on-camera stuff, which is so cool. 2 Emmys.
Talented egg
awesome?
that you guys came
Isn't that
from.
Cool? Yeah, my parents they ignored us and paid attention to us in all the right. That's why it's like really like if you look at your life. And if you hold yourself accountable for yourself, you don't blame other people, you can get the things that you want. And it's like, how could I ever be like mad at anything if I have the shit I want? And I know I'm saying this with a sour fit, but I'm just tired. I've been on the road a while, but I do, like I have really been having fun. It's like, now I just have to learn how to like kind of like hold my energy in between shows and stuff because it's such like an exchange, but it's so fun. I've been having a great time. The audiences have been insane. I'm just going to ride that as long as I can, do this movie, write that book, do a show. It's just fun. I like it. My podcast, Trash Tuesday. Check it out, YouTube.
Nobody deserves it more than you, man.
Thanks.
For real.
Yeah, but I think everyone can get what they want. I really do.
Trash Tuesday is
it's Esther Babitsky
what
and
happened to
Kalila.
Inspiration?
Me Inspiration's coming back. I moved.
Put that on hiatus?
Well, I was just doing that. My boyfriend and I were producing it, and then we were just doing it in our apartment, and there was construction, so I could never film it, and then I got
think you're a
cluster
person
headaches.
Like a solo show is kind of a good
it'd
thing
be
too,
cool.
though. Like,
well, I'm doing a lot of like kind of like hippie spiritual shit I want to talk about more, and it's like it's easier to do if I'm kind of like steering it. Rather than,
that's what I mean. Like you got enough interesting shit that you don't need the co-hosts, and like, you can do it your own way.
But it's very fun. I like the dynamic me and the girls have. So
yeah. That's
really
like
fun. That's like a separate thing, and it's like we're really like
three different
totally different
people
things,
in this world. Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's a miracle that you.
But I'm bringing that back.
Yeah, you
My
should.
podcast
you
is
really,
coming back.
Really
We
should.
just got a 2-bedroom, so.
Let's go.
With a loft.
Big. Oh my
By
God.
the pool.
And a Tesla.
And a Tesla.
Damn.
But also
Girl
keep
coming
giving me your money.
Are you on Patreon and all that shit?
My Patreon has gone dark.
What's your OnlyFans? Plug your OnlyFans.
Oh my God, never.
You'd have so much money.
Fuck that. I'm
You'd
not
have
a
so much
sex
money.
worker.
But like, you could do feet
No.
pics.
I'll sell an NFT of my feet for $1 million. I have a
All right,
price.
let's do that.
I have a price.
1 million?
Yep.
Just feet. Okay. Be on the lookout for Annie Letterman's feet and check out everything else.
Thanks, dude.
That's great.
All right, thanks for watching. Make sure that you click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and leave a comment below. I'll chop it up with you in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about today's episode as well as what you want to hear in the future.